Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Now of course this isn't a Building Hogwarts update because Hogwarts is done, but today it is May 9th and tomorrow is the start of the Edinbrick LEGO convention. So today we've got to, I say tear this down, we have got to get this ready for transport. So we're going to start by stripping down any pieces that might fall off, things like trees, foliage, minifigures, anything of the such. And then we're going to have to start taking the MOC apart in bits. Now most of the buildings, or the upper half of buildings, are able to come off, which will not only help a lot with weight, but it will help us just make sure that nothing topples over as we're trying to carry it anywhere. And of course the MOC splits apart in two, just right here, or more obviously as you can see right there. So we're going to split it in two, and that's how we're going to fit it in the car, and hopefully they will actually fit. I haven't actually tested that, but in any case we're going to start. We're going to strip this clean. We're going to move some of the upper levels of the castle, put it off to the side and get those in boxes, and we're going to see what the base is left with, and I'll update you as we go along. Okay, so the first major step is out of the way. As you can see, these are the bulk of all the buildings. We've got the astronomy tower, or the top half of the astronomy tower right there. So I'll just quickly walk you through. We took off the entirety of the Great Hall. The base, or the rock work, is over here, and I've stripped that of all the water that was here, put it in a little Ziploc bag so they don't tumble everywhere. The actual Great Hall itself is just over there in two parts. This is what's left of this side of the MOC in terms of what will just be carried. I was going to take this tower off, but I've actually made it quite secure that it's very unlikely to tip over, and it's more work to take it apart than it is just to leave it, because it is so structurally sound, and everything else of course is quite low down and fixed down. I've taken off that turret there and the viaduct entrance. They're sitting right here and here accordingly. Taken off most of the central tower over here, left the long gallery because it's just so low down, and taken off the two upper halves of the bell towers. And as for the astronomy tower, I designed it as such, but it does come off right in the middle. Now I did have to just manually take off all of these bricks because this is just completely fixated like the rest of this wall is, but I just finished that off. So there's the upper portion of the astronomy tower. You guys can now see what is left. I mean, this is still, especially this side, probably going to be quite heavy to carry, but at least there isn't something quite tall and, you know, prone to knocking. So we're gonna have to figure out a way now to put some sort of board underneath it so that we can carry this out, because while it's got a lot of plates underneath it, it will potentially break if you're just holding the base plates. And I might also go ahead and take off some of the more fragile bits of foliage. The reason why I don't want to strip all of it is just because it's a lot of work to redo on the other side, so I'm hoping that if I just take off the more fragile ones, most of them will stay intact, and I'll just have to do a little bit of spot fixing as opposed to redoing all of it. But I'll just take you over here to these buckets. In here we have most of the things that were on the outside. We have all of the trees, and because these have got flexi tubes or axles inside of them, they're all pretty solid. We have some of the roof panels, Hagrid's hut, a few spires, anything that is quite breakable. When it comes to these buildings, I will probably go over them and take off all of these top cones and stuff, because from experience those do break off quite easily. But yeah, we're going to be using these other two bins here, and that should hopefully be enough for most of the buildings and other accessories. And then we've got to put together any of the parts, minifigures, accessories like a boat. If I'm thinking of taking the Durmstrang ship, I'm not sure if it's actually going to be in it, but I would like to take it anyway. Beauxbaton's carriage, all that, those will go in Ziploc bags so the pieces don't go missing. We're also going to have to bring a few bits and bobs of extra generic pieces like regular bricks, foliage, slopes, spires, anything that we might lose along the way. Alright guys, well, I'll show you a clip of what it looks like down in the car, because we've moved most of the base down there already, but here's the room afterwards. Pretty clear table. Now what I've got on the table here is I'm quickly assorting a small bag of common pieces that I think are going to fall off. So those are spires, anything that's really on the roof that are quite prone to breaking off. I'll be putting some generic plant pieces in here, as well as just sort of tiles, maybe some rock slopes, etc. In this big bag is all of the Harry Potter minifigures. I cannot wait this evening or tomorrow morning to just take my time and set up some really cool Hogwarts scenes. I think between all of these, regardless of what I create, it's going to be pretty cool. The rest of these bags are just more sort of generic pieces. We've got the Beauxbaton's carriage, we've got sort of animals, cups, plates, foods. In here are sort of any specialty Harry Potter pieces, books, tiles, clocks, owls, Fluffy, which I may or may not use, but regardless, I'm bringing them anyway in case I see something that's missing. And then here we've got some plant pieces, because as much as I say the trees are all going to be intact, I have a feeling some of the branches are going to fall off. Now over here we have the bins, slowly putting them all together. So we've got most of the upper bits of the castle in here, and obviously they are just sort of precariously in here, but I don't expect to be flooring it over any speed bumps, so that should be more than fine. We're currently in 4 buckets. I brought the Durmstrang ship just in case, and I will cut to a clip in a little bit of what it looks like down in the car, ready to go. Alright everyone, here's a quick look at the back of the car, how we fit everything in here. Now most people use plastic tubs, but because the MOC is so big, we've had to fold down the seats, and one half is sitting here and the other half is back there, and we've got some tubs and such that used to just carry all the filler brick and such. So we've got buildings in this one, and the others which are filled with other miscellaneous things. We've got the few extra pieces and such here, but this is all packed and ready to go. We're just gonna have to drive slowly and make sure we don't hit any bumps, and then we'll see how we move it into place on the other side. Alright guys, so here we are at the LUGE convention. This is a voiceover because the audio was extremely horrible, but over here on the right I've basically got most of the buildings, trees, and anything that might have broken off, getting them ready to put back onto the MOC. The bases have been set up. They're across 2 5-foot tables. You can see everyone setting up in the background as well, and whatever I'm pointing at right there. Here's a look from the front. I did manage to get an end table, so it's going to be very exciting. Alright, hey guys, here I am on a Sunday morning. It's a quiet hour, able to get in a little bit of video here. Just trying to take you around. There's some really cool things. There's a Hogwarts Castle over there. Had a lovely experience so far, meeting new builders, getting to know some people, looking at some pretty awesome models like this. So I'm just going around now and taking pictures of everything, looking at cool ways to build things and interesting part techniques and such. Before it gets too crowded, and I'll take a few photos, take a few videos, and share with you what I see. Some really cool train station builds over here. Not sure if this is a Bricklink set or not, but nevertheless, it's really, really cool. Like how they did all these plant pieces. And of course we have the Star Wars MOC, as every exhibition needs. Got a really cool Rancor down here in the pits, and I've been told if we get close enough into one of these cells we'll be able to see Harry Potter. There he is in that door. Well, you guys can't see him. There he is, Harry Potter. Really, really cool Jabba's palace over here. Some more Tatooine inspired stuff. And over here we have some pretty incredible MOCs. A kid in a brick. See, he's done some Japanese gardens. It's really amazing. Indian stepwell. And this, which is actually on LEGO Ideas. It's really cool to see it in person. I'm really loving these builds over here, the amount of detail on the terrain. Also just how they can tile off everything makes it look a lot nicer. You can see sort of technique is that everything is quite flat in patches, so each level of terrain is completely flat, or each color is almost, and it's very distinct. I quite like that technique. And just like that, Edinbrick is done. Time to pack away. Ooh, and we got some collectible minifigures. I'll have to show them off at a later date, but we got some of the ones I was missing. Didn't get to put them in Hogwarts only because I thought they might get stolen, so left them out. Well, it made it back in one piece. This is Hogwarts, and as you can see, it has been reverted back to the original position that we had at the beginning of the MOC series. On the way home, I think I was a little bit slap happy with how I packed it up and transported it, simply because I was like, convention is over with, don't need to worry about it, I'll fix it when I get back. And now we're back, and now I need to fix it. And I'm just staring at this going, oh gosh, so I've got all of this I sort of had to rip off. I don't know why, but I felt the need that I had to take off a row here and there, whatever. All the rest of the stuff is in buckets, so nothing is really overly broken. It's just I need to take the time to put it all back together and make it look neat again. So we're putting Hogwarts back together. It's slow goings, but we're getting there. I've got this left in terms of things to still put back together. I've got this pile of, if I'm going to be honest, pieces that I don't know where they would go. A lot of the plant pieces, of course, they will have broken off in different places, but I've also got a weird assortment of cones and spires and such, which don't really line up to any of the building. I'm missing, well, I'm still trying to find the ones that are missing, and I've got a lot extra of the ones that I do have, so I'm not really sure what happened there. Also, as I'm putting things together, I'm finding little bits. I think I showed this earlier in the video when I was actually at the convention, but there were lots of little bits that just broke off and that are missing, like that bit right there. And I assume when I was lifting it off and just, you know, showing it to people that it broke and it fell somewhere, but when I was cleaning up, couldn't find it anywhere. There are lots of those missing, these little ski pieces that people use as spires. So I'm trying to find those because I'm not sure I have too many extra. Well, I've snapped Lego pieces before, but this is the first time I've ever seen something like this. I must have had something incredibly heavy on this flame piece because it is now sort of permanently bent in this position, and I'm really scared that if I try to bend it back, it's just gonna snap. And it is very delicately put back, but I'm gonna pull this out. Well, in case you guys are wondering, you can bend these flame pieces very slowly at quite an angle. In case for some reason you were trying to make them look a little bit windswept. So I'm lucky that didn't break, because I would have been really confused. But that's cool. Oh, and I thought I'd show this off. I got my very first convention brick over here, Edinbrick 2025. It's got some really cool like pad printing. I don't know if you can see it, but it's slightly 3D. Hopefully this will be the first of what will become those sort of iconic stacks that people have once they've attended like 17 of these. But for now, I've got one, and it's pretty darn cool. Right, I have a feeling I'm waffling, so I'm going to try to wrap up the video as quickly as possible. So good news is the MOC is pretty much all back together, minus the trees over there and the parts over here. The all the missing spires that I was talking about earlier, well, in fact, they all were just on these here in front of the long gallery, and I looked back at photos before I went to convention and they didn't have any, so that's where they all went. I wasn't short, they were just in the wrong place. But in any case, good news, Hogwarts is back together. Bad news, we've got that problem again where the tables are warping, so I'll just have to sort that out in my own time. There are two things that I got at LEGO Convention I kind of hinted at earlier in the video, so we're going to take a quick peek at that, and then I'll explain my plans going forward, because I think after this I'm not going to have many opportunities to talk about what's to come for the rest of the summer and for the future of MOC building. Now I won't bore you with this too much, but what I have here is just a small little bag of parts from a fellow displayer. He had a big tub of bricks where, well, he's got a brickling store, and he said that these didn't pass quality inspection, so he allowed us to sort through them and take anything we wanted. So I did do just that, and I took a handful of different tan pieces, such as this. You can see why it might not have passed because the sticker is not correctly put on, but that's not a very big deal. Got some cool, oh, just threw it on the floor. Cool little clone trooper right here, but it's got obviously some very strange purple printing on it, but that might come in useful down the line. Some other bits and bobs, such as this with the clone or imperial logo on it. I'm sorry if I don't know which one that is. And probably the coolest thing right here is it's a tan brick, but then of course on the other side it is white. So there's obviously been a manufacturer's problem from LEGO with printing this piece, which is kind of funny. But I'm sure that was terribly interesting. Let me show you the more cool stuff. Okay, so I'm going to geek out here for a second. What I have in front of me are 7 collectible minifigures from Harry Potter Series 1 and 2. I collected most of the Series 1, and I sort of lost interest by the time we got on to Series 2, and I really shouldn't have done that because a lot of these are very expensive now. The vendor next to where I bought these was selling most of these characters and pretty much every other minifigure under the sun for quite a lot more, and well, I'm just very lucky that I was able to get my hands on some of these. They're very cool. So, most of them are from Series 2. We got Kingsley. They've written Ginny, but I'm pretty sure that is Lily Potter. We got James Potter, Fred and George Weasley. And we got Voldemort and Dobby. Now, they're not necessarily the rarest or anything, but they're just the ones I didn't have, and I'm really happy that I just stumbled across that, and I think it was sort of a spur of the moment thing. I decided, you know what? When else am I going to have the opportunity for getting these so cheaply? So I decided to shell out a little bit and spent somewhere around £40 to about $50 on 7 minifigures. And I walked away crying, but they were happy tears. Right, you guys will have to let me know down in the comments if I am an amazing reviewer, but here it goes. We have Fred and George Weasley here. Amazing printing, even on the sides and back of the torso. It's actually not on the sides, shoot. We have some really good dual molded hat pieces here. Is that what they're called? Head pieces. We have a excellently printed Marauders. Okay, guys, I give up. These figures are really cool. The thing I like about them is you can actually tell the difference between Fred and George. We've got the Marauders map here, and you have this really cool briefcase, which I believe is a nod to the Goblet of Fire, since we have the 4 champions there. And then we have what almost looks like sort of like raffle ballot tickets, betting tickets, whatever, as you bet on your champions. Here is my favorite by far. We have Kingsley Shacklebolt. It's probably just his robe, and just very, very clean. This is in fact Ginny Weasley. I thought it was Lily, and I thought they had made the mistake, but it is just me. I was a little bit stumped by the outfit, so this must be from Slughorn's meeting in the 5th movie. This, though, is James Potter, and he's got a really cool painting, obviously from the movies of where the parents are dancing. And we have my phone going off, but more importantly, Dobby with Tom Riddle's diary, which will be very good since I think I used this standard black book last time. And we have Dumbledore. Wow. We have Voldemort in his green outfit from the last movie, as well as the first time ever getting Nagini. So, those characters will of course be going into the MOC, as well as this entire bucket of all my other minifigures. When I set up for the convention, I'll be honest, I was not necessarily in the right state of mind. I did all of the setting up for the castle on the Friday evening, and then I came in early Saturday morning, and I set up all the little scenes and made sure everything looked right. But there's just something about when you have this many minifigures, and you don't have a set plan, you just start putting things randomly, and that's what I started doing. And the weird thing is that a lot of people, once the convention started, were paying more attention to the scenes that were created by the minifigures than the actual castle itself. You know, they'd be like, wow, it's Dumbledore. And I'd be standing behind the MOC being like, oh, not the really intricate tower? But it's okay. No, that is sort of a little tip I guess I'll throw in here. I was planning on making an entire video about this, but just as a little tip for conventions, a lot of people care more about the story that you tell with your MOCs rather than the actual just building themselves. Of course, they look at it from afar and go, that's impressive, but then they're really more interested in how you bring it to life. But in any case, I don't want to spend too much time talking about what will be another video. I do just want to wrap up by saying that it was an amazing experience going to this convention, and I'm going to be talking a lot about it in future videos, but I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is thinking of displaying their work. It's not only just a chance to show off your MOC, but it's also an opportunity to engage with the rest of the LEGO community and really just have a fun time with people who think like you and share the same passions. So to wrap up this video, I just want to take a quick second to talk a little bit about the plans for the rest of the summer, as well as future plans for the channel. Now, of course, Hogwarts itself is done, all 33 episodes of it. There is a building series that I could not be any more proud of. I think it was a great experience, and quite a lot of firsts with Hogwarts. I mean, it is not necessarily my biggest MOC, but it is the first MOC that I have taken to a convention. It is the MOC that got me to 1,000 subscribers. it is a MOC that got me back into Lego, and I didn't really think I'd be saying that. Now, I'm not one of those people that, you know, went off to university and then suddenly lost a passion for Lego, but because I moved away from home, I sort of lost access to my Lego collection, and it was only by getting back into Hogwarts that I decided to start bringing some of those pieces over with me, and it really got me back into the swing of building Lego, and it made me appreciate why I loved it so much. And well, I'm just really happy with how it turned out. But that being said, Hogwarts itself is now done, so what are we going to do from here on out? So as for immediate plans, my first thing I would like to do is to create a walkthrough video for all of you guys, going through every single room of the castle, little bits and bobs that I didn't really have the time to talk about when I was actually building it. But now that it's all complete and all together, once we set it up with minifigures, give you a nice tour of the castle to wrap everything up. I've also have plans to release a cinematic video as well, just give you a little bit of a trailer style edit of the castle, make it look pretty nifty, probably slap it on the front page of my channel. However, for the rest of the summer, I'm actually not going to be home, and I'm not going to have access to my Lego, and it's sort of the same situation like when I first went to university. So for the rest of the summer, while I might not have actual physical access to my Lego collection where I can be doing MOC building and such, I do have a number of videos planned that I'm trying to record right now before I leave, and I'll be editing them over the course of the summer and releasing them every week to keep you guys interested and entertained. And then as soon as the summer is over, we'll be back at it, and we'll be starting with a new MOC. I won't be giving any spoilers because there will be videos coming out all about that. Because, well, Hogwarts is going to have to be taken apart at some point, and there is going to be lots of future MOCs in store for this channel. Maybe not as big right away as Hogwarts was, but I'm definitely excited for what we can produce. But that'll do it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of a behind the scenes of what it was like going to my first convention. Now, I do apologize if I didn't record all the right things because it was my first time. I wasn't quite comfortable with pulling out a camera when I was first meeting people and setting up tables and such, but hopefully those things are fairly self-explanatory, and you guys got a little bit of a sneak peek of what it was like to display at a convention. As for now, I have got to clean up all of this Lego and get recording for the rest of the summer. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.